In this question, 4 to the power of x minus 2 to the power of x equals 1, we'll say 2 to the power of 2x minus 2 to the power of x equals 1. This means this 2 to the power of 2 is 4 to the power of x. Okay, so we're going to say okay, before that, so you understand clearly, this thing I'm writing is the same thing. I've not done anything more than that. I'm just following the law of indices. Now, whatever way you want to write it, whether x here and 2 outside or 2 inside or x outside, when they multiply, they must give you 2x. You understand? So now I'm going to say let 2 to the power of x be letter b. Or let me use another letter because I'll be using that. Let's say letter d. So I'll say d squared minus d equals 1. And when this 1 comes here, we'll have d squared minus d minus 1 equals 0. So this is a quadratic equation. So let's solve using this formula. Minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So here the coefficient of d squared is a. Coefficient of b here is minus 1, which is here is 1, here is minus 1, and here is minus 1. So we're going to substitute and say b is minus 1 minus minus 1 plus or minus square root. B is minus 1 squared minus 4 times 1 times minus 1 all over 2, 1. So when we add this one, we have 1 plus or minus square root of 1 plus 4 all over 2. This will give us 1 plus or minus square root of 5 all over 2. So this is what we got. So from here, the values for d is what? 1 plus or minus square root of 5 all over 2. Now remember that 2 to the power of x, we regarded it as what? D. So anywhere we see d, we're going to substitute this value here. All right? Anywhere we see d, we'll be substituting that value there. All right? So what this means, d is 1 plus root 5 over 2, or 1 minus root 5 over 2. These are the two values for d. And we have 2 to the power of x equals d. 2 to the power of x is equals, I'm using the first one, 1 plus root 5 all over 2. 2 to the power of x equals d. 2 to the power of x is equals 1 minus root 5 over 2. So we're going to be considering these two values, but looking at this one, when we find the value of the square root of 5, 1 minus that value divided by 2, we'll have a negative answer. True or false? True. So there is no how we can say this, which is going to give us a positive answer, can equate to this. Do you understand? They are not equal. So this will be rejected. Do you understand? So we're going to use this finally. This is what we'll be using to find out the value for what? X. Now, looking at this question, the only thing we can do here is to find the log of both sides. So if we find the log, take the log of both sides. Next thing we're going to do is to bring down this x to this side, following the law of logarithm that says log 2 to the power of x is the same thing as log 2 to the power of x is the same thing as x log 2. You see it, so x log 2 is equals log 1 plus root 5 all over 2. So we divide both sides by log 2. By log 2. So divide both sides by log 2. We'll have our x to be log 1 plus root 5 over 2 all over log 2. Following another rule of logarithm that says log a over log b is the same thing as log a to base b. So we're going to be representing it here. This will now be x equals log 1 plus root 5 over 2 to base what? 2. Are you saying that? So from here, what do? We're going to find the actual value for root 5. Square root of 5, we add it to 1, divide by 2, and we are going to get, when you punch your calculator, we'll have it as 1 point, that will give us a log 1.618 to base 2. Am I right? Yes. So 1.618 to base 2. Then the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to say this is the same thing as log 1.618 over log 2. Is that not so? So before we apply this first. So what we're going to do is log this will give us 0.209. Are we there? And then log 2 will give us 0.301. So actually, in another sense, there was no need to use this rule. It's the same thing as log 2. There was no need for that. So when we divide, we're going to have 0.694. So the value for x is 0.694. But we're not going to stop there. We are not going to stop there. Next thing we're going to do, we are going to check if what we did is correct. And if x equals 0.694 satisfies that equation given to us initially. So, what was the equation again? The equation is 4 to the power of x minus 2 to the power of x equals 1. So anywhere I see x, I'm going to put the value as what? 0.694. So 4 to the power of 0.694 minus 2 to the power of 0.694 is equal to 1. So when we punch our calculator, 4 to the power of this will give us 2. And punch your calculator again, this will give us 1. You can check it. 2 minus 1 is 1 equals 1. So therefore, x, which is 0.694, satisfies this equation. Can you get it now? All right, so